people who are more into the web, who are younger maybe, or older and more into the web, you can sign up on our site and become a member. And I've signed up, so this is my page. And you can have friends just like on Facebook. If you don't know Facebook, then you probably won't like this. And most of my friends are writers, are the writers on the site. And then you can join groups, and you can become a member of different organizations on the site. If you're a member, like I am, all of the local events go in a stream to my page. Here's my groups, and here's my events in my area. PJ Library, I love PJ Library, right? So that's really cool, and this is a way of linking up people in interfaith families with organizations, and professionals with people in interfaith families, and theoretically also interfaith families with each other. That they'll form groups on our site, because this is one of the things that when we surveyed our population, they said they really wanted. So that people will be able to find a nice, welcoming synagogue and Jewish community, and this is one of our things. So this is one of the things we do. So I talked about officiation, I talked about the groups, and then we have listings of professionals, we have the discussion boards, and then we have all these articles. And it's really hard to organize this much content into one thing. So we have everything organized. We have life cycle events, relationships, holidays, news, which includes Israel and news about interfaith families, spirituality, which is like religious experiences that are not on holidays, and also conversion. Arts and entertainment, which is all those celebrity columns, and our blog. So the kinds of things that we do are basically not that different from what people do in the rest of the Jewish community for adult education. You think, they got Ruth Abrams, this high-tech Ph.D. who could do all this stuff. Do you know what the most popular article that I wrote is? I wrote this article called The Jewish Holiday Cheat Sheet. Let's see if it'll come right up. Oh no, it won't come right up. And it's basically a list of all the Jewish holidays and like the food you eat and the greeting and what it's about in brief. And that's not a very sophisticated thing, is it? Here's Purim. The Hebrew means lots. What's it about? Pronounce it. When is it? What are the foods, right? We're not talking about rocket science. It's not really all that difficult to do this. One of the things that makes this work is that it's called Interfaith Family, so people in interfaith families come and read it, which, they could go anywhere on the web. They could go to My Jewish Learning, or they could go to Aisha Torah, and a lot of them do, but they come to us because we are explicitly welcoming.
I was hoping if you would talk about some of the challenges rather than the positives.
I will, don't worry.
This group, as you can see by the whiteness of our hair overall, is largely made up of parents of interfaith. I would suspect parents of interfaith married children rather than interfaith married people themselves. Among the people I know, that's the case.
Right.
Just like this and there's. Are you going to address any?
Sure. Yes. Let me.
Of the rancor that like the commission, the Makatunim who are born again Christians or anything like that?
Sure. I have a list of the things that I think are the issues, but I can talk about the Makatunim who are born again Christians. Yeah.
Because the kids are great.
Some of
the
the
ex-husband who's is his grandchildren. These are my issues, but I don't know. I think
everyone has some different issues. That's one of the issues. It's not the one that jumps immediately to my mind, but it's an issue. So I'm going to talk a little bit about those issues since I'm being asked, don't sell the website now, tell me to tell me that Tsuris, which means trouble, is a big favorite on our site. Everybody wants to read the stories. If I say, this is a story about his terrible problem and how he overcame it, everybody clicks. So I know. But these are very, I mean, most of the interfaith families, actually, the couple gets along really well, and in a lot of cases, the families come to agreement about raising the children as Jews without that much difficulty. And the bigger issues are lack of Jewish education, affordability of synagogue membership, the need for welcoming leaders, a community that is warm and open and meaningful, and good programs to reach out. And that's why I think one of the reasons why Cleveland is doing so well, because Cleveland has all of that. But there are a couple of issues. One is, like, how do you include culture from both sides of the family while raising a child unambiguously Jewish, right? Because a lot of families say, well, just raise them both to be fair, and then they wind up raising them nothing, and no kid wants to be a nothing, right? Kids would like you to raise them as something, to feel part of something. So how do you include the culture of both sides without being confusing about the religion? Among other things, the Christmas tree question. And a rabbinic officiation is definitely a piece of that puzzle, because for some families, they want to have co-officiants because it will make both sides of the family feel better. Some rabbis are really good at figuring out how to include the culture of the other family without making it not a Jewish wedding. So, I mean, there are some symbolic things that people do in their families that can cause a lot of friction between members of a couple. Like, do you, when you have life cycle events, have Jewish life cycle events, have a baby naming with a bris, with a circumcision, have a bar bat mitzvah? Do you need to have both? We've had people come to the site and on the discussion board say, can I raise my child and have them have First Communion and bat mitzvah? And I'm kind of like, well, if you are following the rules of either religion, probably not. Because one, you're basically saying you're going to do one thing and then you're also going to do the other. I mean, it's just very tough for the kids to make such decisions. So, so this is one of the touchy subjects. One is, are you going to have a rabbi? Are you going to have circumcision? Are you going to send the child to Jewish religious school so they can have a bar bat mitzvah? And then when the child is in the Jewish community as a teen or young adult, are they going to participate in Jewish life and feel like they really belong in the Jewish community? So, and how does the child, as a young adult, acknowledge both sides of their family? So I'm going to talk, I am a little too positive. What I outlined was what were the things that were working, and from the things that were working, you can hear some of the things that are the problems. So one thing that works really well for the Jewish community to attract and retain interfaith families is to be explicitly welcoming. And you can hear from that the flip side is sometimes true. Sometimes the Jewish community is explicitly unwelcoming. We had a discussion about this morning because it's very much easier for the Jewish partner to raise Jewish children with another Jewish partner. How do you talk about interfaith dating and interfaith marriage with people who are children of interfaith marriage and say don't intermarry if they have intermarried parents? That's really tricky.